Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if this is your first time, thank you. Okay guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this Halloween cake, Halloween pumpkin cake with bugs in it. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, and if you want to know how to carve cakes properly, because I'm going to show you how to carve this one, but I have a video on how to carve cakes for beginners in case you haven't carved a cake before and you want to carve out a particular shape. I have a video on that, and it says click on me right up here. Yeah, click on that. Okay, so I'm using vanilla and chocolate, and I'm using two different sizes because they're performing like a roundish shape, which means the size in the middle is bigger than the size on top and beneath. Yeah, so I'm using the size 6 and the size 8-inch cakes. Okay, so and I'm filling it with buttercream. I'm sure you guys know all of this already because I do this like in almost every of my video. Okay, so today right now I'm going to show you how to carve this, and it is really easy. Actually, it is very easy to carve. For this particular cake, I didn't freeze it before carving. If you remember in that video, I told you guys to always make sure the cake is not at room temperature when you freeze, but it was refrigerated for about 4 or 5 hours. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to carve a roundish shape. Yeah, that's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure the top is rounded and as well as the bottom, and you want to make sure it is not too rounded so it can be stable, because if the bottom or the top is too narrow, then the cake won't be stable. If you move too much, it might slide off the board, if I'm making any sense to you guys. Okay, so the next thing we want to do right now is make the grooves by the side. And I'm sorry for that sound. You guys can hear that ping sound. That's my oven in the background because I'm baking, and it's I'm shooting this video in the midnight because that was when I had time for it. So now we're going to make the grooves by the side, and the number of grooves you want to make depends on how big your pumpkin is, and you don't want the grooves to be too close apart because you don't want it to look I don't know, too close together. Or anyways, I made 5 grooves. You can make 6, you can make 7. Just make sure they're not too close together so it doesn't start to look like something else, and make sure they're not too perfect. You don't want them to be equally spaced, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. You want the grooves to run from the top to the bottom, and when you do that, the top is very important because the grooves have to shift into the hole you made in the middle. I don't know if my English is working, but you guys get me. Okay, so this is my white chocolate ganache recipe. If you want this recipe, it is somewhere on my channel. I think I'm going to put the link right up here or in the description box below so you guys can see, or you can see how I made that and stuff. And this is very nice. It's for coating cakes first before you cover with fondant, and it is an amazing base as well as delicious. Okay, now that we're done making our ganache, it is very simple actually and very easy. Now we're going to cover our pumpkin in ganache. Yeah, and this was kind of tricky because of all the grooves and the irregular sides and stuff. But the good thing with this kind of cakes is that it doesn't have to be smooth, because when you see natural pumpkins, they're not smooth. Yeah, they have distinct shapes, but they're not smooth, and they're just just natural stuff are natural. They're not perfect. Okay, so the good thing is you don't have to smoothen it too much. And I already colored my fondant in a shade of orange I want, and coincidentally my fondant color kind of matches the color of my gloves. I'm so bougie. Okay, so you want to spread out the fondant, and you don't want to spread it out too thin, because for this kind of cakes you have grooves and irregular sides. You don't want the fondant to be too thin, so that when you lift the fondant and put it on top of the cake, it won't thin out even more and then give you those tears and stuff. You don't want tears in your fondant because that makes your work harder. That makes it really hard to work with. So when you're covering a cake that has irregular sides and maybe shapes and grooves and corners and stuff, you don't want your fondant to be too thin. You want it to be maybe half of an inch thicker than it normally would be if you were covering maybe a round or a square cake. Oh, I really can't help myself. I promised myself I wasn't going to like explain too much in this video, but I can't help myself. I have to tell you guys what I'm doing so you guys can like know what I'm doing and like maybe do it better if you want to do it or you're just watching for entertainment. Whatever. Anyways, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tuck the bottom of the fondant into the cake, and I'm sure I've shown you guys how to do this severally before. You can use a knife or you can use a spatula. Just make sure you use something that has like a sharp and a flat surface. Yeah, maybe a knife or a spoon. Just use it to like stick the extra fondant underneath the cake. This kind of cakes are easy to like work with because you don't have to over smoothing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be imperfect to be perfect. If that makes sense. I'm such a clown. Okay, so now that we are done tucking the fondant underneath the cake, what's the next thing we're going to do? What are we going to do? Okay, the next thing we're going to do right now is you're going to make sure like the grooves are well pronounced, and you can use something that has a rounded side. You can use omorogun. Okay, if you're not Yoruba, you can use turning stick. Just use something that is rounded that can like make those grooves show even better, because you want them to be well defined. If you notice, they're not like equally spaced and stuff, and I did that intentionally so it can look more natural and more natural. Okay, so after you've defined those grooves, you need a tool. It doesn't have to be these tools I'm using. Just look for something in your kitchen that works. The thing with cake decorating is you don't have to buy all the fancy tools people use. I think I've had this tool for more than maybe 6 years. Yeah, this was one of the first things I bought, and it came in sets, and I think this is the only one I can find. I can't find the rest, but this is what I used to do everything. I just kind of make it work. You don't have to buy every fancy tool. Just use whatever is in your kitchen that works. Just use something that is not too sharp, that can make those shapes, those grooves, or those grooves in the cake for you, so it can look like a real pumpkin. Okay, so this is my favorite part. You guys know I love to airbrush. Like, this is my favorite part, and I'm going to make a video soon for you guys on how to use an airbrush for beginners. Because the first time I bought my airbrush for almost 2 years, I didn't use it because I thought it was spoiled. It wasn't spoiled, I just didn't know how to use it, and airbrush has changed my life. It has changed my game. Okay, so when you're brushing, the thing to remember is, okay, I'm still going to make a separate video for you guys, but let me tell you what I'm doing. The things to remember is layering. You don't want to just paint it like you're painting with paint and brush. Yeah, you want to layer the colors. You want to start lighter and like go deeper if you want. Okay, so let's leave airbrushing matter. Yeah, so the next thing we want to do is to put the stalk of the pumpkin, and I already made it out of M9 grain fondant that I had. And if you notice, I didn't make it too perfect. It's just weird. Just make it like a stalk and cut off the top. And then I'm brushing that with some brown to give it some dimension. And I'm not just coloring the whole thing brown. You want some green to kind of show through, so it can look like the stalk is getting old. You know how it looks like it doesn't look just green. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I already made some bags. And then the eyes and the mouth of the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. Okay, so now we're going to fit that. It's just regular triangles that I made, and then the mouth, I just made like a normal smiley mouth and then cut out some squares from inside, and that was all. This cake was pretty easy. I think it took me less than 2 hours. Yeah, I made it in midnight. I made it around 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. Anyways, okay, so the next thing we want to do is just place the strings. Those strings were supposed to be green, but I didn't have green fondant left, and guess who was too lazy to color another fondant green? Me. So I just made it out of black because I had black fondant left. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, after putting these coily strings, you know when you see a pumpkin, they have like on the stalk, they have this coily thing, and they're usually green, the color of the stalk. But listen, let me breathe. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is just to place the bugs you made separately. I'm still going to make a video on how I made this box for you guys. I think I'm going to make maybe a Halloween donut video, I'm not sure. And then just place the bugs and then write what you want to write. It was supposed to be for a client's birthday, and she told me to do anything. I was just supposed to do a regular cake, but I woke up feeling, bougie and creative and stuff. So I decided to make a jack-o'-lantern cake with bugs in it. I hope you like this tutorial, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in my next video. And thank you for always watching. If you watch to this part, like, you are my money maker, literally. You guys are my, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for always watching my videos and for for everything basically, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.